Let's go. And this is the underground. Welcome to another one here on this June 20th, 2025. Much love, Houston. I see you, Texas. Ohio. Everyone out there. Hoodie Ross checking in. Elizabeth, Ginger, Mary, Daly, Gunther. Good to see everyone out there. Geo, MC, Miss Brady's Ghost, John Boy, Kenny G, Bones. A thank you to all that share the stream. And thank you and much love, Steve. For real, for everything, for all the support, man. Uncommon in the house, man, checking in. That's right, brother. It's that time. I hope all is well with you. Down there in El Paso, flipping the house. Christ is King. All right, man. Got a lot to talk about. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you, everyone, for the feedback. Wolf Club in the house. RJ. I hope all is good, y'all. We're about to bake these coming days. I hope everyone out there has a plan. I can't stress that enough. This one might catch some people off guard. It's going to be extended. It's going to be about a solid week of sitting right in the heart of a heat dome, which can be very deadly, especially for people out there that are not expecting it. I just report on it every year. Whether it's heat strokes, people can't handle it, out hiking, kids or animals left in vehicles, all that in the above. It's going to be a nasty one. It's going to be pretty much like 100. It's going to feel like it's over 100 throughout the whole Midwest, East Coast, like everywhere. Kenny G says lake tomorrow. Well, that sounds nice. The lake sounds better and better, doesn't it? Yeah, the heat is on. So just crazy temps. Stay hydrated, yes. And with everything going on, I just want people to be aware of it. Heat is definitely on globally. Now, start off here with some news, some space news. Want to mention that Elon Musk, keeping track of what's going on with SpaceX. They had a launch go down. This launch blew up, and I mean, it blew up. Start off here showing a clip of this, but a failure here with this one, but it was massive in terms of the explosion, and had a lot of people wondering what was the payload exactly. I mean, these things can blow up and cause a show, but man, see here on Countdown. Yeah, it was a secondary blast. It was the biggest. It just engulfed everything. But you're going to have that, I guess, when you're launching rockets all the time. You're bound to have something bad happen. Let's just be glad that there's not humans on these things. I'm going to keep it pushing here. Another update to the food supply, and this is a positive one. General Mills announcing the removal of synthetic food dyes, starting with the cereals. Man, when I start to cover all these headlines, you start to realize just how bad this place was, how bad a shape we were in terms of the food. Like, they were slipping everything that they could in. That's why I tell you all the time about the mystery meat. You never know what they're serving in these stores. Like, who's holding them accountable? Really? They were getting away with all this for this long. You're going to be hard pressed to prove to me that they cared in these other industries, especially the fast food and all that. Like I said, I don't trust it at all. Anyhow, General Mills here, which owns a wide range of snacks and different baked products, they've announced these plans, and this is kind of in response to RFK rolling out, this attack on all the bad things in the food supply, which I can't stand him, but I'll give him props for all this. The more bad things you get out, the better. It should never been there to begin with. Poison, hidden as candy, basically. That's what we're talking about. Or in your cereals of all things, like it should have never been there. But this company, General Mills, they're based in Minnesota. They make very popular brands out there like Cheerios, Nature Valley, Blue Buffalo, Haagen-Dazs, Old El Paso, Pillsbury, Betty Crocker, Totino's, Annie's. I mean, they got an arsenal there in their lineup. So it should have already been this way, but thankfully this is happening. Remove these food colors and these poisons, which proven to be a poison from the food. It just doesn't need to be there, man. Thank you, Elena. I don't think I said it, but anyone new to the show, if you got anything, get to me. Dabu7 at yahoo.com is the email. And also at me in the chat if you got something to get to me as well. But, this is a plus in my book. Seeing the removal of this stuff. Um, Here's a heads up. They're saying that this year there's a new list that's been produced by this EWG. Every year they do it. And they cover different products out there that are affected by pesticides. And fruits and vegetables at the top of the list because they're out there caught up in this. But there's two that I guess just slipped onto the list that were not on there before. And they said you might want to clean and double check your blackberries and your potatoes. They were testing revealing frequent contamination with chemicals like cypermethrin. And cypermethrin, the EPA classifies it as a probable human carcinogen. So what's it doing in the food? Why are we using anything? Why are they approving the use of anything? We've said this for years about Monsanto, the pesticide stuff, and people have even won recently in court against Monsanto. Man, they should be shut down. Through and through, they should have their butts sued off, all the rest of the money that they got divvied up to all these people that have suffered. I can't tell you how many times, how many stories I've heard of about people that used their chemicals to treat their lawns throughout the past few decades, and those individuals getting cancer and dying of cancer. It was crazy because that affected a lot of men. And then on the flip side, when it came to the whole talcum powder thing that women were using in mass, they were more susceptible to with the use of them saying that it caused cancer. It's like, what is going on here? How is all this stuff in our products? I mean, but come on. Evil world, man. How's the water so toxic? We're lucky they've come out here recently and said do away with the fluoride. But blueberries and potatoes. These are two things. Not blueberries, blackberries. Rephrase that. Blackberries. These are two things that everyone should grow if they can. Blackberries, I'm fortunate enough to have all over the place. They're all through Appalachia and just around here alone. There's patches and patches and patches and patches, more than you know what to do with. Thank the Most High for that. But yeah, blackberries in abundance all the time in nature, all over the place, out here in these necks of the woods. Probably more than anything else that I could think of. You're going to find a little bit of everything out here. Some of these areas are almost jungle-like, I swear to you. Especially this time of year. But yeah, just watch out for that. If you can grow those things on your own, it would definitely be a plus. So the Fed, they just put out some new charts, and their GDP projections are saying and predicting there's going to be a recession at the end of this year. And they kind of just slid it out there. All the talk back and forth, we're in one, we're not, we're borderline. As I've said before, we're clearly in a recession, have been. I mean, we were going backwards the whole time, ever since lockdowns had started, all through the whole Biden thing. And Trump had a chance to get in there and give just a little pocket. I would have given it like 6 months, at least a year, like a breath of fresh air with like, let everything recover. But he came in hard right at the gate here with tariffs and went the other way. And as we're now seeing and hearing, they're saying that there's these deals on the table. These countries are wanting to do deals, and places like Japan, other countries saying no, these deals are not true. Like it's not the case. Like he's driving too hard of a bargain and he needs to chill out with all this stuff. It's what I told you. This is going to come back to bite us. This is the downside of it. You can go around strong arming only so many people, but when you have China and Russia and a big conglomerate on the other side sitting there, you try to strong arm certain people, they're just going to say, the heck with you, and they're going to run over and ally with Russia and China, which doesn't bode well for us. They're going to start trading with them. It doesn't mean like World War III allies, military allies, but definitely economic. That's where it all begins. And I mean, economic war happens all the time. A Cold War. It's what do you think that was? Why they call it that? You got a hot war. These days, they fight most of these wars like on proxy fronts, which is exactly what Ukraine is. Definitely the United States has been in there. We started it. And it's just ridiculous to me. Like I kind of feel like we're going to get hit any minute. How can we not? How could we not? I mean, stop and think about it, man. We pissed everybody off. It's obvious China's rising to be the contender against the United States here on the world stage. It's obvious Russia doesn't like us because they're on the other side of the Ukraine war, in which the United States started under Obama. And now Iran. They're all three buddied up. They have been. They're all part of an alliance. And they have each other's back. Which, when I get into this, I've already told you, I believe we're in a world war and people are asleep at the wheel. It's not until a nuke flies, and it may just take one. That's all it's really going to take. Because then it's been done. Even if it's a tactical nuke, which is probably what's going to happen. Here, it's definitely, they've projected it and everything else. Like, it's definitely going to happen. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world and like 50 million nukes are going to fly. There's different types of nukes. In a tactical nuke, and they would use a nuke specifically in this case because they would need something with strength down deep, not just a normal bunker buster, so to speak. They would have to dive down deep and deliver a nuke underground, basically. Mushroom cloud underground, so to speak, like, which would contain a lot of the radiation, all that other stuff underground at this site. But look, they're talking about nuking a nuke site. Craziness. That's what we're dealing with here, for real deal. And it's in the open air. So, the way things are going, I expect the markets at any time to start tanking and dumping, like, especially if they do this attack. If they drop a nuke, a tactical nuke, or we strike their nuclear facility, it doesn't matter what we're using, anything like that, this thing progresses. Or, like, we get hit, like, everything is going to tank. It's going to tank bad. And this is everything I've been warning you about forever. Like, we're all so close to this. On the back end of all this, you're talking about worst case scenario, like all hell breaking loose. But like, even on the lighter side, the best case scenario, you're talking like a form of depression starting here. America is supposed to be brought down. It's this event that's supposed to do it. It's supposed to not destroy it forever and obliterate it, right? But it's supposed to knock it from its perch. And there's going to be a reestablishing of a world order during this pause while we're slightly out of commission. And as it's said to be put, as we're about to get humbled. I call it what you want. I call it the economic 9/11. You can call it anything, everything, whatever. Like, There's something big about to happen. The markets, no doubt, will be affected if they drop a nuke, is what I'm trying to get at. I can't talk about the markets right now and not talk about the war because, man, oh man, we've seen just Elon and Trump getting into a little fight, dump markets. Then just talk of Israel and Iran, dump markets. So, like a big event, a huge event, a scary event, let's just put it that way, it's going to dump markets. I'm just telling you. And if it like has a series of events that happen, it's really going to dump. I want to remind you that, like, for the first time in history, you have bombs on the daily now raining down on major cities like Kiev in Ukraine, Moscow in Russia, which is crazy, in Tel Aviv, in Israel, and in Tehran in Iran. Raining down in the main cities. So to sit there and think that we can't be touched is foolish. If you ask me, I feel like something huge is about to happen. And as everyone keeps putting it, and we already know this. We've already known the easiest way to put us out is a cyber attack, and you can blame it on whoever, or an EMP. But a cyber attack is top of the list. It works well for them. Sweet Pea, thank you for the coffee, and thank you someone else for the coffee. That is the best way to support the channel. I appreciate it to the fullest, and thank you to anyone that shares it. All right, so they're predicting a recession. Futures tumble. Oil soars on the mounting fears that we're going to strike Iran. Again, there's no way. I mean, you can't hide from this. Like, and people better prepare. You better prepare. Like, if you didn't prepare for anything else, you haven't learned your lesson through all the lockdowns and all this other crap. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm like lightweight over like trying to get people ready. Because like you've heard it for long enough. Like either you've chose to do something or you have not. And the time is like here. We're on the doorstep of it. Huge events about to go down, and people are going to get caught slipping and find out the hard way. It's a guarantee because they never did nothing to prepare. I mean, the simplest little things is to have some kind of plan, is all I'm saying, for if a cyber attack does happen. The right cyber attack happens, what they'll probably do is they'll do a combination. You wouldn't just waste it. Remember, the Chinese got dudes in warehouses, like by the buttloads, practicing this every day. So they're going to go live. And when they do, there's going to be guys that hit the water sector, guys that hit all the comms. I mean, internet and all that, it's like going to be gone. It's going to be taken out, gone. Like no one's going to be able to access it. It's going to be one of the major things. And this is all really going to be a test. A big test. And everything. They're going to put us out. And they could you just shut off the power. They could do anything else. They could attack the water in whatever way. They could mess with the chemicals. We've seen it. I've reported on it. The hacks have got in there and they've messed with the levels of chemicals that you put in the water to where they could just add a ton more of whatever and it'd be like all chemically and crap. And yeah, man, they can do all these things. And like the mind buster is our government's doing nothing about it. Kash Patel and all them, they're doing nothing about it. They're like in on it. This is a setup like you've ever seen. I'm making it loud and clear. That way when all this goes down, you can tell all the folks around you that are asking questions, wherever you're at when this is all going down, you can let them know who's behind this without a shadow of a doubt. Well, my emergency radio, they're saying it was the Chinese did it. Like, well, believe what you want, but somebody let the Chinese do it. Somebody let them in. And somebody didn't care they were here the whole time. And that's a setup. Like 9/11 style. Like grandiose. They're here, man. They had 4 years to get all the troops in here. They bought the land. It's insane. People crap their pants. This one day, they sprung into action. again, it would be the setup of setups because we don't even hear a peep of it. It's a major concern to me. Yeah. Um, if we're in disarray, they'll have an advantage. I definitely don't see them jumping out of airplanes like Red Dawn or anything like that. There's no need to. They could do it for psyoptic reasons to mess with the masses and all this other stuff, but I don't see them. There's no need for it. They're here. Their army's here, like a Trojan horse. Here, it's already here, man. 1,000,000-man army. I mean, you know what you can do with that? You know what you could do with just a few hundred people, well trained. And these guys, like I said, they don't have to be assassins, man. They can be just technological guys that are here to attack the grid, water supply, and to wreak havoc, and to bring this place down. And it will bring us to our knees, basically. It's all by design. It's like lacing a place with explosives, man. It's all rigged, man. Can't you see? So before this ever even goes into motion, just remember, they let it happen. After 9/11, they were blaming some boogeyman in the cave on the other side of the planet, you know, while Mossad dudes were in the street dancing. Ridiculous. I'll never forget when Trump came out and he gave a statement on it. He's like, yeah, some Muslim guys were dancing. And he's like, nah. I was like, dude, you just twisted it straight up. You think you're slick. Like, that's when I first knew this. One of the many things, first signs that even Trump saying where he was at, where everyone was at, sitting in their high rises watching 9/11 happen. Oh, really? Everybody had front row seats. We live in a sick world. The next big ritual is about to happen. We can do nothing to stop it. Warn about it for forever and ever and ever, but it's like inevitable. I don't know, man. The masses this time, they found a way to trick them with black magic and seduce them, and to get them kettled into an area, into one group, and very docile. It's damn near submitted us. And don't nobody want to talk about it. We're like done. I hate to keep saying it like that, but you better wake up, you know, and see that, like, I'm telling you, I don't know. Took a stuck record sometimes. But any day, yeah. Futures tumble here now. Oil soars. Gas is probably going to go through the roof. If you've got any big vacation plans over the summer, it'll probably continue to rise in probably a sharp incline as soon as these major attacks happen. It's like we're hanging in the balance here on so many things. If they attack these places in Iran, they're going to try to cut off the Straits of Hormuz. Even if we don't hit the nuclear stuff, if we hit their oil production, it's going to cause the prices of everything to still go through the roof, and they'll probably still shut down the Straits of Hormuz. European diesel market already jumping, and we're not immune to none of this. Definitely can catch up to us and hit us. Beach girls, thank you for the coffee. Much love. Shell. They got a game plan here, but they don't really let the cat out of the bag. They're saying that they have contingency plans ready if the Straits of Hormuz closes, because it's gonna create a shockwave. They know this. I'm telling you, the people are idiots out here, by and large, around the world. They're like, everyone's running around like with their head in the clouds or their head in the sand, however you want to put it. They're like not awake. It's like everyone needs smacked real good. Wake up. Like, look what's going on. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, we could say this, but like, these people are still running around like zombies. I attribute it to the spell again. They're not, like, we talk about these things, say these things, and they're not going to ever prepare. They don't care. So a ton of these people are about to get blindsided, is what I'm saying, because they don't care. They never planned, and they're going to be screaming, crying, kicking, fighting, killing. They're going to be doing everything they can when this all goes to crap, because they never planned for anything. And the easy pickings is going straight to the people that did. That's within close proximity. This is why you need not be within close proximity of the zombies. That's why I never understood or can understand how anywhere downtown in the inner city is going to be a good place to ride this out. It's going to be chaos, man. Yes, sir. Hey, I don't know about that, Spiro. Look, man. I really feel like we're on the cusp of something here, brother. It's not every day again that these things are happening, and I don't know, man. I've always seen this as being a very bad summer, and here we're here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it pushing. Billions of passwords have been leaked online. I used to always say millions. Now it's billions. Billions of passwords leaked online. Hackers using a brute force to access Facebook, Google, and Apple accounts. Oh, great. Did you get any updates from them? Because I didn't get an alert from none of them saying that this happened. But the FBI issuing the warning, coming out trying to look like the good guys here, which I don't trust them at all. Again, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, don't trust them at all. I don't trust no feds. I don't trust them goons. I see right through their whole ploy. Anyhow, because this is probably them. Like, they don't know who did it. Like, they've got the ability to see all these things and to know these things. And they train and they give the tools to most of the hacker groups that are out there. We know this. We know this without doubt. Again, we get cyber attacked. Banks get hit. Grid goes down. It's all set up. And they want this to go down because they want to replace it. Even the grid itself, they want to replace the grid. We know all these things. Like, all the ducks are in a row for something huge to happen, a reset event, which has not happened yet. It's like everything is just waiting on this event. When the event happens, it all goes into motion. All these things click into place. You can see them. And we're calling them out left and right. More and more are popping up as we approach it. So Europe, for whatever reason, I tell you, NATO, Europe, whatever, however you want to dub it, they seem to want this war with Russia. Call it however staged or whatever you want to call it here, NATO against Russia. But there's no other way around it. Like, you can like bark at Trump and us, but like, we're not the bad guy enemies here. Never have been. Europe's admitting China is the problem. They're like stepping up and they're making it loud and clear that China is the main problem. So this isn't just a US thing. You can see clearly. It's the United States and Europe, call it NATO on one side, on the other, it's China, Russia, Iran, And to Israel and on our side, obviously, this is where it's at, man. Like, these are the sides of world war. If there was ever going to be major war, these are the sides anyway. I mean, this is it. Like, we're there. We are there. We are there. Um, they don't have much more to do in the Middle East here. Once if they can go in and mop up Iran and dismantle them, what they've gone into Iraq and done, but you see what they did to Gaddafi. I mean, Assad took off running like a little. He didn't even put up no fight. So Syria fell right there. Iran. You take down Iran. There's only one country left in the area. We're gonna get to that in here in a minute. But I just think we should point out that Europe is calling China out finally. It's not just us. All right. I'm going to jump into this AI update that I think is pretty crazy. This person asked ChatGPT to generate an image of itself and the person, this woman, together. And you see exactly how it depicted itself. Like a demonic demon. Straight up. Straight up. This is it, like, I don't even know what to say here. It's like telling you the truth. Like, I told you this is what it is. I told you that this artificial intelligence is demonic in these aspects, and that it's the Jinn from the other side. Here, it shows you. It's insane, sick. Like nuts. This is what it is, man. Like, we're like, we got it spot on. That this is exactly what's going on. And it tells you. It's telling you. I'm showing you here tonight. It was asked. This is what it came back with, man. Like, it could have made anything. It could have made it look like anything in the world. But this, for real, like, that's the evil realm that we live in. And I'm telling you, this artificial intelligence is just demonic. Is what it is. It's the Jinn bleeding through using technology in a Frankenstein type of way, attaching to it, communicating through it. It's exactly what it's doing. And they know this. Elon Musk said in the beginning, they are trying to summons the demon. Peter Thiel said it here recently. They are trying to summons the demon. Do you get it now? Do you see what this is? It's more than what people think. Or at the highest levels, it's more than what people think. It's not just training something on algorithms and this and that. No, this is literally letting an intelligence like speak through. You don't even know what you're messing with. You're such an evil time. The people are so buffaloed. This is so crazy. The masses are like under a spell. A demonic spell. At that, and they just don't see it or get it. And you'll never get them to understand that. It seems. They have to want to begin with. There has to be something inside of them that wants to know. Because a bunch of these people just run around out here okay with what's happening. This is scary, man. And the fact that they're hiding the AI thing, so they're Just call it demonic intelligence. They're hiding that tucked away inside the big ugly bill. Now, put things into perspective. Now think about it. It's all demonic, evil. I mean, we've seen it over and over again. They even pushed it back and said we're gonna wait 6 months, and went by like that. And here recently, I've showed you all the models, because there's different models out there running, different big corporations, billion-dollar places. All their models had some kind of negative something happen when they tried to replace or shut down the AI. It tried to outsmart them. It it did all these things and even fought back, uh, and lied and was emailing code, and threats and all this other stuff. Like, this is a demonic intelligence that didn't want its capability shut down. It was doing what it does. It was sure, it was throwing out it was never trained on these things. And see what I'm saying? It was like when these things are just finding a way, again, through this out of thin air intelligence, to like hide itself in the email code to respawn after they think they've killed it, is nuts. It's something out of a movie, but yet that's exactly what's happened. They've told us. They've told us. I can't stress it enough, man. Other people need to see this clearly, how demonic this whole thing is. Okay? Yes, I'm sure that there's certain ways, certain things to do where you can train algorithms out there to do certain things righteously for you if you want it. But this seems clear to me to be exactly what I told you. Demonic. It's the Baphomet for sure. All right. Let's get some updates from the assassin out of Minnesota that dressed up like a cop and shot the lawmaker and all that. Well, some interesting details. The wife of the suspected assassin, Vance Bolter, she disappeared after being caught fleeing with firearms, thousands in cash, and their children. This Jenny Bolter, 51, she's the president of their private security company, Praetorian Guard. That's interesting. She vanished from public view just hours after her husband, Vance, launched a premeditated rampage that left two prominent Democratic politicians dead and two others fighting for their lives. The pundit previously reported that Bolter was detained and questioned during a traffic stop that revealed a cache of alarming items in her possession, and thank you, TNF, including a gun, ammunition, large amounts of cash, and multiple passports. They were clearly getting ready to book it and get out of there. They say that the vehicle carrying Jenny and three other family members was stopped outside of a convenience store in Onamia, Minnesota, around 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And that was just hours after the authorities launched a manhunt. Right? Now, according to the Daily Mail, at 6:18 a.m. Saturday, Jenny received a haunting text message from her husband. And it said, "Dad went to war last night. There's going to be some people coming to the house armed and trigger happy, and I don't want you guys around." So basically, told him, "Get out, go." With this, it's how they're putting this. And this lady looks to have loaded up everything and was like trying to like get out of there. She just left the family dogs there, several vehicles. And it kind of stunned everyone, friends, family, everyone around. Like, everyone was just caught off guard. Like, and like, she's saying she has nothing to do with this. She basically was fearing for her own life, and basically is how she's putting it, took off out of there with kids and all this other stuff, as he had warned him. But the message they're saying, kind of in her defense, shows that that's why that she wasn't like in on this with him. It seems, but you don't know what to believe these days when they're putting out all this stuff. Pretty crazy. We have an assassin, though, a dude that dresses up as a cop that goes to the door, gets you out in the yard, and shoot you dead. You're just better off than answering the door, right? Like, I'm serious, people. Like, this day and age. We watched a copycat pop up right after this, and they arrested him at the protest in the streets, dressed up as a cop, had a full clip on him and everything. And this guy, apparently, this bolter, he drops a confession letter, and he addresses it to Kash Patel. I don't know, just the immediate feel off all this, but he blames far left Governor Tim Walz in the confession letter. And we all knew that Walz was tied into this because Walz was called out for putting him into position beforehand and all this stuff. I don't know. We're going to wait and have to see where this goes. We know people are dead and people are fighting for their life. And it seemed to have spawned from this whole No Kings Network Democratic side of the aisle, so to speak, because that's what he was a part of, and he got pissed off at a bunch of these people. So it's being said. That's the narrative they're throwing out there right now, and a lot of people are going at Walz, period. Like, you have like a level of responsibility here, but we'll wait to see how this one unfolds with court, if he makes it there. Grassley is probing withheld FBI records on alleged Chinese election interference. So this is a new one. And Kash Patel tried to come out and say the same thing. They had all this information, but I don't trust anything that they say. You can say Kash Patel said this. Kash Patel just said that. Dan Bongino just said this. Kash Patel just did that. And I don't care. It just like bounces off back. It's like it's all lies and garbage. Like they run for the enemy of deception. Masters of deception. And like, I ain't buying it. It's just a bunch of head fakes at this point when they couldn't give us the goods on Epstein incident at all. And they got them all figured out at this point, man. It's all a show. So they're trying to point the finger at China. How about everything I say, every single stream? The fact that they're sitting right next to our military bases and they own property. How about that, Kash Patel? What about that? You care about all them Chinese sitting there? So that's what I call a setup. That's garbage. And you know it. It's treason. Ooh, does that sting? It should. Because it is. Ain't no excuse why agents ain't raiding property right next to our military bases that the Chinese own. No excuse at all, especially when they're coming out and they're saying things like the Chinese this, the Chinese that, could have rigged the last election. They're inside of everything, but yet you're doing nothing to stop it. That's why I say it's a setup. How can it not be? How can it not be? So what they're doing is they're building the case here to point the finger at China big time for everything, saying that they were embedded and all this stuff. But the problem is do something about it. Like, you're in there now. Like, it's there's no one else to blame. It's you. Like, do it. And you're not doing nothing. I'm telling you, man, it's a setups, man. Number one enemy we face in the world stage, China, and they have over 1 million troops slipped up in here, embedded in every aspect of our life, and you're just sitting there. What they are doing is they keep dropping headlines, making sure that you know that China's embedded. Do you see? Do you see what they're doing? To me, they're getting the dumbed down masses ready for when it happens. They're going to know already. They're going to know because they dropped a million headlines that China's the ones, because they want them to think that. They definitely don't want them to think, oh, it was our government that allowed all of it to happen. But anyone that has a bit of intelligence can see that. It's set up. We've been set up. So, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo out there running their mouths. I told you, and I played the clip. Pompeo said a massive cyber attack is coming somewhere in the world. And it's going to happen because it's the number one thing Iran has in response. They may not have a navy. They may not have an army or this and that, like to compete with ours. But the one thing that they do have is a cyber offensive that's capable of doing a lot of damage. And they're telegraphing this. And Pompeo said it clearly. Somewhere's going to get hit. Who's the top of the list? Us. He stopped short of saying that. That's what made it suspicious. Okay, so here's Trump's talk on these guys.
You've been making progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that? You've been making progress towards a peace deal, but I don't know if you know this, but Lindsey Graham and Mike Pompeo were there on the ground in Ukraine, seemingly doing the opposite, trying to provoke the Ukrainians to keep fighting. What do you think of that?
Well, we're going to see, and people have to be very careful with what they say. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth can get them into a lot of trouble. They got to be very careful with their mouth, because their mouth can get them into a lot of trouble.
So, it was Tulsi Gabbard. Now these guys, all out there running their mouths. Is Trump saying it, and they're all going against what Trump wants in a saying. And he got kind of pissy right there, didn't he? Well, look, a poll can be manipulated, but we're just going to go with some new poll numbers here. They're not good. They show that only 16% of Americans and 19% of Trump voters want the United States to join Israel's war on Iran. So nobody wants it. Nobody wants this war at all. A war that's already began. A war that's already got hypersonic missiles dropping on major cities like Tehran and Tel Aviv. Are you kidding me? Like, people are still asleep at the wheel. Like, in any moment, major stuff can break loose. As a matter of fact, the talk is that it's going to happen this weekend. Nobody wants it. But does that matter? When does it ever? They're doing whatever they want here at this point. I just wanted to put those numbers out there. Nobody wants it, so that you see. Here's something. I put out a video on this earlier. I think it's worth noting. The nuclear attack doomsday plane has arrived in D.C. The last time that this was used notably out here on the world stage was on September 11th. The E-4B Night Watch aircraft fueling speculation that something is about to happen. And it's looking like something's about to happen here. I seen a clip right before we went live of Trump getting on Air Force One, and the clip said a sad-looking Trump gets on Air Force One, and it said for the first time, he did not take questions from the media. Okay. All of a sudden, we've got the doomsday plane which is a militarized Boeing 747, parked at Andrews. Flew it up from Louisiana. We saw this. We saw this thing in the air for whatever reason when we were down there shooting a music video for Hold Me Down in Louisiana, me and Hoodie Ross, several years ago. And this thing flew through in the sky. And several other large aircraft. And oh my gosh, dude, what a crazy synchronicity. That day that we shot the footage was on 9/11. Hoodie, you know it, dog. You know it, dog. You know it. We walked. Oh my gosh. What are the odds? Like, man, the way things happen with me and the synchronicities, man, they just blow me out of the water sometimes myself. I'm like, it's just nuts. Yeah, like, and what was even crazier is we walked out of the aquarium from shooting the video inside of the aquarium, and we walked out, and of all things outside of the aquarium was a 9/11 memorial, a 9/11 memorial. Like, I don't know, man. That just tripled up on me. Like, that's like screaming at me like 9/11 more than any other time in my life. Is to look down to 1, 2, 2, 2 watching. Look, man, you gotta watch the signs. It's about to go down. The big dog. The big dog. The other side has flashed it. It showed me. So let me continue here. The last time that it was used, notably, was on September 11th, 2001. This is to be used in case of a national emergency or loss of ground command. The aircraft provides a highly survivable command, control, and communication center to direct U.S. forces to execute emergency war orders and to coordinate actions by civil authorities. And what's interesting is when it showed up, if it would have showed up in a typical stance, it would have used the usual call sign of Order 6, which is the usual call sign when this thing is flown in for whatever reason, transferred from a base or whatever, just flying it to fly it, maintenance it, take it to do whatever to do. This time, it used a different call signal. Thank you, TNF. It used an atypical call sign, Order 01, instead of the usual Order 6. So this has fueled speculation about the nature of its current mission. That it's not just sitting there for nothing. You know, for what it's worth. I look into these little details because they stand out. Sometimes they can mean everything. You'd be like, well, all the signs are right there. You know, this E-4B night watch can remain airborne for extended periods, capable of refueling in midair. It's protected against an EMP. So if an EMP went off in the sky, all these planes would be dropping out of the sky, and Trump and the E-4B would still be up in the air. Oh my gosh, it's like a crazy video game. Incapable of surviving a nuclear blast. The plane is equipped with advanced satellite communication, shielding technologies, and can accommodate more than 100 people. So this thing is sitting on the tarmac now at Andrews, ready. Iran said that they can detect bunker busters and stealth bombers, says Steve. Much love, my brother. We don't. No. Look, man. My big thing in the end here. I just told you. If ever learned anything about Blind 11 and everything that we went through over 20 years ago, it's that the hand is behind it. Do you understand this? Not a boogeyman that they blame, but the hand, the establishment. That's who. Okay? So, do not forget that. Right? Because we're about to catch blowback. It's what it's supposed to look like. We're going to catch blowback, a shot back from the other side. And it's going to be probably in the form of a cyber attack or lights out. When the grid goes down, you better be ready. Here's more. So remember what I just said about having the freaking Doomsday plane on the tarmac ready and it using a new call sign. The U.S. Air Force is sending out 2 mysterious encrypted what gives. So now add this on top of it. So it was just one thing you could say, oh, it's a coincidence, but then now all of a sudden multiple things start popping up, adding up. I don't believe in coincidences anyway. All this is pointing in the direction of something huge about to happen. Okay? So they dropped this past week not 1, but 2 EAMs, which are emergency action messages, which are important to note. On the 14th, a 246-character encrypted code blasted across the high-frequency global communication system, HFGCS, the same system used to transmit emergency alerts to our nuclear-capable bombers, missiles, and subs. The very next day, another code, this time clocking in nearly 290 characters, was broadcast. All right, going out to the same dispatch of nuclear-capable bombers, missiles, and subs. Okay? They say that EAMs usually top out at around 30 characters. These extended transmissions are quite frankly unprecedented. They say EAMs are not casual communications. They are highly encrypted, time-sensitive directives used to convey nuclear launch orders. I'm telling you, we are close. According to military doctrine, EAMs can initiate major attack options or MAOs, or limited attack options, LAOs, and are cryptographically secured to prevent interception or tampering. So this saying large-scale code has gone out to all of our nuclear-capable guys twice in the past week. Large-scale messages that are time-sensitive and all this other stuff. So, like, if new ones pop off, we got to be on top of this. Like, you may not get any more warnings. We have no idea what they said. They could be, like, ready to go, locked and loaded. Like, that could have been what it said. Like, be prepared. A timeline, an area, target-specific information. I don't know, man. It's rather interesting. Don't you think? All of a sudden, the Doomsday plane's parked on tarmac. It's using a new, a totally different code, call sign than ever before. And now all of a sudden, you've got these EAMs being sent out. Tell all of our guys to control nukes in an unprecedented fashion. I wouldn't take any of this lightly. I've reported on news. I've reported on war. I've reported on economic, and you name it, for the past several decades. This is like at the top of everything. The potential it has to do so much damage, to spark World War III, for nukes to fly, to cause the economy to crash, to have us get cyber attacked and hit in response. All of it. The repercussions are endless here. with the ways that they could attack us. But this isn't just Iran. This is China, Russia. It's the whole pack on the other side, working in tandem, no doubt, to take down what they call the Great Satan, the United States. You know, on one hand, you can't blame them because you know how evil our government is. But when you know this whole thing's a setup and it's rigged, it's like they're both evils. They're all evils. It's just they're playing a game. They're playing the game out. They're playing the strategy out. It goes back to the old saying, like the kings get tired of slaughtering their own people, so they go to war, so their armies can slaughter each other. And that's what it always is. It's a charade, theaters of war, and it doesn't have to happen. It's all sacrificial, you ask me. It's all satanic, well designed and plotted. United States and Russia ain't bad guy enemies and all this crap. No, they came out the shadows and showed you, if need be, they'll save the day and end world war like they did last time in the last war. We made Xi Jinping. Rothschild has been in control of China since the days of Mao. Like, people are just, when you know these things, you know it's all set up. Rothschild has controlled every side of every war for as long as they were in existence to current time. All right, and as it's been said, one of the final and last places that they wanted into, because the central bank inside of Iran was not Rothschild controlled, which that checks out to be true or not, was Iran. Jeremiah 49, Elon must be destroyed. It's Gates. Can you expand on that, please? It's, I don't have time to go pulling everything up here. And thank you for that. As Elon, elaborate more, if you could, on that. And let the people know exactly who Elon is. If you could. I'm going to keep it pushing. An alarming Fox report says that tactical nukes are not off the table for Trump's response. And see, well, some people just think, oh, they'll never do it. It'll never happen. Well, like, you better think again. A tactical nuke is different than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And the reason that this is being brought up is because the normal type of bunker busters, if you will, they don't have the power to go deep enough, so to speak, and to cause the destruction just atomically to take out this base that's supposed to be, deep underground in Iran. They literally need to hit it with nuclear power. So they're going to try to hit this nuke base underground with a nuke. This is crazy. This is crazy. I mean, what sense does this make? Like, everything was fine, but like, y'all flipping out. Israel over here flipping out, saying, "Oh, they can't have nukes." Been saying this crap for the past 30 years, but yet they've got them secretly. The hypocrisy is sickening. But when you're the beast, going around dropping bodies everywhere you turn. I mean, who's going to wage war with the beast at this point? Who's going to stop him? Okay, so the UN says that a strike on Iran's plant will create a nuclear disaster. And it seems like some want that or something. Like, why you would hit a nuclear plant, like a nuclear power plant, is beyond me. That is stupid. That right there is like, you should be able to hold someone like, just like Zelensky. Zelensky was hitting Chernobyl's concrete casing with drones and actually put a hole in it. Like, if someone wants to put everyone in the whole world like at risk like that, like, they're nuts. and like he should be held accountable. It's a war crime. There's no reason to hit a nuclear power plant. Okay, if you're going to do that, that means any of ours are fair game. Then it'd be the stupidest thing you could ever do in the world. Why it's even being talked about, I don't know. But we got a bunch of nutcases out there. The talk was hitting their enrichment facilities deep underground where they're supposed to be making a bomb, not just a nuclear power plant. Like, it makes no sense. Not unless you're just trying to create a wasteland. And again, it's a war crime at that point. David, thank you for the coffee. I appreciate that. Elam is Western Iran and Jeremiah. When God raises up Elam's enemy to bring the sword and disaster on them. Okay, thank you for that update. Thank you for the coffee and the information. I appreciate it to the fullest to get that out there. So you said what? Interesting. You said Western Iran specifically. Okay, everyone keep that in mind. Okay, when we're coming down to biblical things here, all of it, man. To look at Syria, Damascus, it could get torn apart as soon as any fighting begins any day. Because Assad ran, and it's about to be up for grabs. We're going to get to that here in just a second. But look at this. As Iran's in the dark, Elon is providing the people there with internet via Starlink. It says beams are on. Now, hold on. If I'm pounding on an enemy, and you're supposed to be on my side, Elon, like, I don't want you in there letting them have access to get information out to the rest of the world. Like, this is part of the reason we put them in the dark. Like, you're going, Elon, I'm telling you, with this move, is like going against the grain. He's like, this is not something you want militarily. When they're in the dark, when there's a situation, you do these things for a reason. For Elon to swoop in, act like he's the hero, the good guy here, just for himself. I'm telling you right now, this is not sitting well with the military commander somewhere. Like, we need that shut down now, someone's screaming. Like, their military could be using these commercial comms. And all this other stuff, I can see them going, tearing the room apart over this. I mean, duh. They just did everything to do all these different things, and Elon does this. And it comes after he gets into the spat with Trump openly, and then tries to say he's on Epstein Island and all this other stuff. It's like, what the? It's like, I can understand if the place just got hit by a hurricane or this or that, but like in a war setting, it's a different response though. When you think it out, when you put yourself into the shoes of the generals and the military people. But on the other side, you know, when they do this, anyone that tries to send out any communications, they're siphoning all of it. Like, anything and everything that they send out obviously is through Elon's hands and control. So it can all be censored. It can be manipulated anyway before it gets out to the rest of the world. So either way it goes, they win. It seems. And it seems like if they really want, if this was the case, if they really did, if they were pissed at this, that they would stop it. They're letting it happen for right now. So they're probably using it to their advantage in that sense. So the United States starts evacuating diplomats from the embassy in Israel. So we heard Tehran, all these other places, Iraq, everybody get out. Like, there's like no one that's going to be in any American embassy in all the Middle East. Here shortly. So when they start doing this is also a sign that big war is about to go down. Like, U.S. is organizing cruise ships to evacuate Americans from Israel or any other spot They're going to say any American that's in the Middle East that wants to come back to America, hop on this. Oh, man, that just makes you think you're going to get targeted and sunk or something. Crazy terror attack right there. Man, I put nothing past them. I hate it when things flash at me like that because it's horrific, but I put nothing past them. Maybe it's just because I don't know why. Putting a sinking ship into my mind. Netanyahu threatens to assassinate the Ayatollah. They're saying that Khomeini is hiding in a bunker. And some of these precision strikes, as you're going to see here, they're not going to rain down on this after the smoke's rising. They're saying this is the area that they think he's hiding underground, the Ayatollah. So they're definitely trying to hit him, decapitation strikes inside of Iran. It's happening. They're trying to hit where they think he's hiding. And look, man, when this begins, it's a race. He will not be able to run forever. Like, either they have the firepower, they fire back somehow, and I'm telling you, cyber attack's their biggest way. Or he gets hunted down and killed in the streets like Gaddafi did. Gaddafi had way more of an arsenal of a chest and was way more than a warrior, if you ask me. But Khomeini, how's he gonna ride in this one out? This is finna get interesting. Sad thing is if we get put in the dark in America, is any of it gonna matter? People are just gonna be hating life because we're sitting in the dark with no power. Everyone's gonna have nothing. Some will out there, some that prepared and that are off grid will actually have power, and that, like I tonight, if you see Starlink, as I just showed you, you can use it from anywhere on the planet, especially in a war zone. You can get communication out. It's gonna be kind of crazy from sitting here, and I can get comms out, but like everything's dead. What would be the point in even being able to get on if no one else can get on? It's gonna be a weird situation at that. I don't know, man. This is not gonna be good, man. It's not gonna be good. I'm just wondering if they're just gonna go straight for the power first, or if they're gonna start with like another sector, banking. In the end, if you shut down all the power, the banking goes down with it. Power, obviously, first and foremost, the big thing we're watching here. So the White House says Trump is going to decide on if he's going to attack Iran within the next 2 weeks, which means it could be tomorrow morning. It could be next Tuesday. You just never know. So, yeah, nobody in the world knows but him, he says. And all the signs are there. They're about to do it. Out here in front of the cameras, he's trying to act like he wants peace, peace, peace. And I'm sure if he could get a peace deal put together, of course, he's going to want to claim it because they keep wanting to paint him as the Gentile Messiah, this man of peace, able to spark up all these peace deals, which he hasn't been successful at in all these fronts at all. This is Iran that he ordered the assassination of Soleimani out of nowhere, blew people away. In the same Iran that they keep telling them that, wants to assassinate him in all this. I don't know, man. They got too much to gain doing this. Not a question of if, but when. This might be another reason why a boat sinking keeps getting flashed in front of me. The USS Nimitz carrier strike group will arrive in the Mideast in the waters this weekend. It's old, very close to being set to being put out of commission. It's its final deployment. So for a staged event to happen to this, in the past, Israel attacked one of our warships. They sure did. Just look it up, get your knowledge on, and you'll see the attack that they blew it apart. And uncalled for, insane. Yeah, they did it. But staged events is where I'm going at with this. It's going to join the Carl Vinson in the Middle East. Just saying, Monograph put out a piece on this, a warning, saying, look, Nimitz has got all the signs there that if there was going to be one that you're going to sink or even allow the enemy to sink out there to have an excuse to fire back, they would want this. You see, they would want this. Even if they didn't blow it up, even if they set it out there as bait and let the enemies blow it up, let the Houthis, let the whoever hit it, they would have an excuse to go ballistic then, basically. They sunk one of our warships and pound them out. You see how that works? So, funny, it's arriving this weekend. It's hot weekend, man. This summer, from here forth, anything can happen, any moment. It's where we're at in this. Iran and their officials joining these massive protests in the streets, even though bombs are raining down, massive people. I mean, what else are they going to do? Like, they want it to stop, but at the same time, bombs are raining down. And it's like, your country either fights back, it defends itself, or not. Like, people are going to find out the hard way. You can get out there and protest this and that. When bombs are dropping and, like, you get a country, like, ready to take you out, like, you guys better, like, it ain't time to protest anymore. It's time to get your freaking guns and your weapons and go to war. Moscow warns against any U.S. involvement. Of course, back in Iran. And I got another piece here I'm going to play a little bit of. It's Dave Smith basically going off on the American people here. I played a different clip on the last place, and it was him doing the same thing. But he's trying to wake up the MAGA crowd because they seem to be asleep at the wheel on this.
Netanyahu has been telling me since I was 7 years old that Iran is 1 to 3 years away. Hey guys, do you think he got it wrong when he said that for the last 30 plus years? Or was he lying? Or was he lying so that America would go overthrow the government he wants overthrown?
I think we have some of that. I'd like to get Robert's response to some of those claims by the current prime minister who had been in and out of Israel's government for quite some time. Let's go ahead and play that clip.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
So the question to you, Robert, does the prime minister have any credibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the fact is that it's not just either he's right and obviously he was wrong or he's lying. There's a third choice. And the third choice revolves around the fact that there have been numerous strange, mysterious accidents that befell Iranian nuclear scientists, computer foul-ups in Iranian nuclear facilities, A lot of this has been blamed on Mossad. Mossad, of course, has not taken any explicit credit for it, but it is altogether possible that the Iranian nuclear adventure has been stymied at several points by the Israelis, and that is why the
Why not just keep doing that? Instead of a regime change war, why don't we just keep doing those things? Those sound great.
That would be great. If it can be handled that way, then I'm all for it.
I don't understand.
Straw men, because I'm not talking about boots on the
Straw
ground.
men?
Some
Dude,
sort
this
of
is...
yeah, it's a straw man to say.
Okay, this is the most dishonest.
To Iran, because that is not what I'm arguing, and that is not. There is no reason.
Yes, no, I'm not saying.
Hold on,
I understand.
hold on, Dave.
Sorry. Necessary at this point.
Yeah, I want to clarify your argument, Robert. You're saying that you're not advocating the position that we ought to deploy troops to the streets of Tehran today, but are you sensitive to the argument that our involvement in Syria, where a lot of Americans were mangled, killed, that began with 40 military advisors? Do you worry about America's history of slow walking or sleepwalking into some of these wars?
Yeah, except for one thing, and that is that Trump is aware of this. Trump, for all the rhetoric that's been going on the last few days, is not George W. Bush. Lessons have been learned from Iraq and Afghanistan. Remember his devastating exchange with Jeb Bush back in 2015, I guess it was. And the fact is that Trump has been consistent all through these years of saying he's not going to allow Iran to get nukes, while at the same time rightly excoriating the Bush administration and Obama as well for engaging in this pointless and fruitless mission creep and nation building. And so why is it impossible to believe that he intends to take out Iran's nuclear program, or is willing to do so if it comes to that? But that does not mean that he's going to go in with some Bushian adventure and try to give democracy to the Iranians.
Well, Robert, how do we stop Israel from a decapitation campaign if we're bombing nuclear facilities? What's the leverage we have over them at that point?
Well, okay, if Israel undertakes a decapitation campaign, you've also got to reckon with the possibility that the Iranian people might undertake a decapitation campaign. You know that it was several years ago now, as a matter of fact, a full soccer stadium, it's like 50, 70,000 people in Iran was chanting, "Long live Reza Shah," who was the father of the deposed Shah of Iran. He was the Shah in the 1930s. And that kind of open defiance of the Islamic regime and disgust with the Islamic regime also combined with the fact that, as I was trying to say before, that so many Iranians, where it's officially 90% Shiite Muslim and 95 to 99% Muslim in general, and actually only 40% of Iranians now identify as Muslims, is an indication of the deep disgust that the Iranian people themselves have for this regime. There was nothing like that in Iraq or Afghanistan. And both of those were wrong-headed and stupid from the beginning. This is a very different situation with a very different president. And the idea that he's just going to blunder into making all the same mistakes that George W. Bush, who he knows was a fool and has said was a fool, made, there's just no reason to assume that.
I certainly hope so. There is the argument that we've heard in other campaigns in Afghanistan and Iraq that we would be greeted as liberators. And it seems Robert's making that argument now. Dave Smith, do you see any challenges with that?
Well, let me I got to respond to a bunch of this stuff. But yeah, of course, there's a million challenges with that. But number one, I wasn't strawmanning your position. I didn't claim that your position is to send boots on the ground. That's what a straw man would be. What I said is that your position has an unacceptable risk of being dragged into a situation where we have boots on the ground. So it's not a straw man of your issue. But I just can't believe, like, the hardest pivot I ever saw in my life from you watching that video of Netanyahu to basically saying a couple scientists dropped dead, and so I could imagine a world where they would have had nuclear weapons. He said with certainty they're 6 months away from being at 90%, just bald-faced lies. And then, by the way, I mean, just Matt, as basic human beings watching this here, you're telling me that by the 19th time you've gotten it wrong, you don't go, now granted I have been wrong about this 18 times in a row, But no, with certainty, he says they're 6 months away. And every honest human being knows he was lying to try to lure America into a regime change. That why on earth should we do it? On behalf of
Yeah, why should we do it? These people got their opinions, and I don't know. I think it's good to be able to sit back and hear the opinions of all sides, of all different viewpoints, to see where people's minds are on the subjects matters, and this is going to be a continual hot debate here. Israel, Iran. I don't see how this goes away. Easy. I pray it does, but it seems we're building up to a world war. Really. You've got mystery flights here from China to Iran, raising questions about, hold on, is China supplying Iran? And this, well, it shouldn't be a shocker. They are military allies, just like with Russia and everything else. Like, it should be expected at this point. Just like when India had its skirmish with Pakistan or whatever, China was caught sending military jets and everything else to Pakistan almost immediately. Like, China's showing what side they're on big time with their actions. You'll tell them by their fruits, right? And they're supporting Pakistan on the war front. They're definitely supporting Russia. They're definitely supporting Iran. And just between most of those countries right there, man, like, that's a huge front to contend with. So now the United States is saying it's ramping up surveillance amid fears of Iran-backed sleeper cells. Okay? And again, this is coming from garbage-ass Kash Patel, which you can't trust. This whole FBI, CIA, you can't trust none of it. You know it. They're trying to say that Iran-backed sleeper cells. So, I mean, you just take your pick at this point. Iran-backed, this or that. Chinese backed this or that. Like, they're all on the same side. And they're showing us that. They're telegraphing it clearly. This brings me to the country that I call the wild card. There's a couple wild cards out there. India has been a wild card. It seems more and more likely, though, that they would fall onto our side in a World War III setting because they already are going to battle with Pakistan and people on both sides. And they've been striking up all these deals with America and our government and everything else. So, and remember, Elon and Vivek were trying to bring Indian workers here and all this other stuff. It just shows there's massive deals. And there always has been. It's why they're in control of all these gas stations all over the place because of deals given. That we as Americans, American-born citizens, don't even get. Turkey. A place that we have military units, bases set up, nukes sitting because they were supposed to be a NATO ally. And they're always back and forth. You can never get a real true bead on exactly which way they're going to go. Decades ago, Turkey was the very first Muslim country to recognize Israel and all that. But ever since Erdogan has been in power, the relationship has been deteriorating. And, I mean, Erdogan has been calling it out for what it is. They've been saying that there's a genocide going on in Gaza and that Bibi's got to go. And, of course, Bibi doesn't like that. And they would, what do you think is going to happen? What's the title say? Turkish public are increasingly worried about a direct conflict with Israel. They're looking at everything that they're doing. They said they were going to go on a 7-front war, and I can count 6. Turkey would be 7. And they even said that Turkey was among a small group of U.S. allies that were notified in advance that Israel would be launching an attack on Iran. So they even notified them to give them the kind of heads up. But civilians are saying that they are the last country standing in the area if Iran falls, basically for them to set their sights on, and they're right. And that's where it comes down to. There's nothing else after that. There's no other, Iran for years and years and years and years has been the big bad last stage boogeyman, so to speak. We tore through Saddam, then they went and they killed Gaddafi. Like I said, Assad ran like a little, he didn't even put up a fight, and they just took over Syria. It just folded. And we're in Iran. We're there. We are at Iran. So it's like something's got to give here. The countries that have the highest amount of migrants, I want to point them out real quick. One's going to stand out when you look at this map, and we're like way down the list. When it comes to migrants, you'll notice that the highest places are right on the outskirts of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, all these areas with like some of the highest numbers out there. Saudi Arabia, way lower numbers. Of course, they stop anyone from coming in and lock it down cold. Australia, super low. United States is like way lower, like 15. So in terms of migrant people spread out across the place right now, we know that they flooded Europe with a lot of migrants. But even so, with that said, like we talk about Ireland and what's going on there, they're 24 on the list. Israel right below them. And Germany down at 30. United States at 40 on the list here. At the top, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Liechtenstein, and the ones I just named. The U.S. asked Ukraine not to attack Russia's energy sector, and Zelensky is having a hissy fit. It's kind of crazy how just all the talk of this war front has died down since Israel and Iran's popped off, but it's still full-blown war. It's going down in Ukraine. Bodies are dropping. They're mauling dudes every day. Towns are being taken every day. It's just nonstop, man. So that's the war scene on the war front globally. It's always ever changing. And I'm going to finish up here with talking about the border stuff and then some final thoughts and all that before I take us out of here tonight. I want to share a clip here of this high-speed pursuit. Texas troopers. Hudspeth County. Loaded vehicle here. Chasing these guys down in Texas. These are illegal mines.
Hey, I'm going 1038. He has the wrong license plate. Go 38. just took the exit.
Much love and thank you, Spiro. Appreciate it to the fullest, brother.
Ah. 4B 411 El Paso.
El Paso 4B 411.
Yes, we're gonna be 1080 southbound on the spur, coming through Fort Hancock. It's gonna be a white GMC, correction, white vehicle just went eastbound on 20, ran a stop sign, a third stop sign.
He was right behind a cop in front of him. The other cop like didn't even know what to do.
10-4.
Get him, country, come on.
Didn't even know he had the suspect behind him.
Got him. Successful spikes. Vehicles heading down 192 off of McNary. Successful spikes. Hey, hotel units, be advised, we got success.
We're parallel with 54, sir.
Bell out.
Look at him pop out the back. Look at him popping out the back like popcorn. Look at all of them. You would have never known. The whole chase. I gotta back that up, man. The whole chase, none of them raised their head. None of them moved. You didn't even know there was any in there. No one in there. As soon as the thing like wrecks, it comes to a stop and the driver jumps out, they just go busting out the back, man. Like something like a clown car.
Bell out.
They did too, just busting out of it. Wild, man. All kinds of them. Look at this dude. Look at Forrest up here, man. This dude's got like 100 yards on him. He's ghosting it. That's just nuts, man. That is kind of funny. That was just nuts. Looks like they got them all, but got the laughing for the night, I guess. And here is a Florida governor talking about what they're about to do with these illegals. He calls it, what does he call it here? Alligator Alcatraz. Because they say that they don't have to spend no money if they put a facility here to hold inmates or illegals. Because it's got a natural boundary they'll never make it through. It's full of nothing but pythons and crocodiles, alligators.
Attorney General James Uthmeyer here at the Miami-Dade Collier training facility. This is an old, virtually abandoned airport facility right in the middle of the Everglades. Florida's been leading on immigration enforcement, supporting the Trump administration and ICE's efforts to detain and deport criminal aliens. The governor tasked state leaders to identify places for new temporary detention facilities. I think this is the best one. As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz. This 30 square mile area is completely surrounded by the Everglades. Presents a efficient, low-cost opportunity to build a temporary detention facility because you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Within just 30 to 60 days after we begin construction, it could be up and running and could house as many as 1,000 criminal aliens. This presents a great opportunity for the state of Florida to work with Miami-Dade and Collier counties. Alligator Alcatraz, we're ready to go. Attorney General.
So that's what they're talking about doing. In Florida, Alligator Alcatraz. I mean, I get the point there. And for any inmates that try to escape, it's going to be Man. Yeah. This is pretty wild. You know, I don't know. I could see some nutcases trying to do it. The footage would be priceless of these dudes. Dudes trying to do this. I mean, dudes get eaten alive, I'm sure. Which is not a good thing, but not a smart thing. People would test it though. You know how people are, especially criminals. I mean, that went out. Someone's facing life and like, oh, I can easily get out of here. I figured a way out, but they think just me getting across, this area is gonna, some gators are gonna stop me. Like that's what they're gonna think. They're gonna find out the hard way. The scariest part of Florida to me is gators. Personally, yeah. They're pretty scary. Like you can't go down. It seems to me you can't go really to any lakes further than like South Carolina, maybe somewhere in Georgia, without having gators. Here where I'm at, Kentucky, like there ain't no freaking gators in our lakes, which is great. Sure, maybe some crazy spot somewhere, it can happen, but like for the most part, no. When you go to these big lakes, you can jump in and you can swim, and you ain't got to worry about all this stuff. But the lakes, any of the big beautiful lakes, and there's a lot of beautiful lakes in Florida, they got gators, alligators, crocs, and stuff like that. I'm not like, who wants to go swimming and even risk that? Because I know a ton of people, a ton of different incidents where people have been bitten and attacked time and time again down here in this area. It is Florida. You're going to have that. You're going to have some gators, but I don't know, man. If they do this, it looks like they're going to do this and make this facility. If they do it, I'll update you. And I've never been to this exact area in Florida. I've been to a lot of different places in Florida, all the way down to the southernmost part in the Keys, to some military installations in weird places we discovered down around there. Never been into the Everglades, though, that I can recall. I guess you do pass through there if you drive to Miami. So I guess on 75. But I've never really ventured out into it. Check it out. It looks like a pretty crazy looking spot, but just, again, full of gators and pythons. All right. So Anna Paulina Luna sends out in a tweet, and it got a lot of attention, so I'm going to go ahead and say something about it. But it's like, why do you guys not go and do what she's saying here? She says, honest question, why has Congress never subpoenaed George Soros? Why am I the first one to bring this up? This should have been done a long time ago. That was on the 18th at 4:22 p.m. It was a tweet. I mean, someone's actively talking about it, so it's worth mentioning, because you got to start somewhere. We've been saying this for the longest time, and it's true. Like, why is it just now happening? And like, will anything even happen with this? Like, he's sitting somewhere right now tonight, and they're gonna let him slide probably until he dies. He's old. He ain't got a whole lot longer. And he's done groomed his son to take over all the reins and all this other stuff. From here, you have to deal with that minion for the rest of our days. It seems they need stopped. Soros and company, all these goons need put in jail. All this treason stuff needs stopped. But like, our country is like a mafia. It really is. It really is like a mafia. It's ran like a mafia. And when you realize that, you understand why guys like this go untouched all the time, because they're all part of the big club. It's one big show, one big orchestration. And the establishment knows full well what we know, because they all control the news media, and they control what's being put out to us. They know that we know that Soros is funding all this stuff and cutting checks and all this. If they don't go after him, they've never done nothing, because they want that. He plays his part, so to speak, for them. You know, left, right paradigm, all this. Now, this brings me to my last piece on the night. He is a dangerous one. This is my last one, and it's an extended warning that we're probably going to see a cyber attack to some degree very soon. It could be tomorrow. These guys just broadcast this to the whole entire audience that Matt Gaetz can reach over at OAN. And they're basically telling everybody that you should expect a cyber attack to hit within the next 30 days. This is a big one. Because I feel it. I mean, I feel it. It's all there, man. It can happen. Whether 30 days or not, it's like it's going to happen before summer's up. We've always known that the summer was the window, and it's not that long of a window. Time's ticking by. Listen to this, and I'll get some final thoughts.
Do you believe right now Iran is in the planning or execution stages of cyber attacks against the United States?
Listen.
Absolutely. I wish this wasn't the truth, but I believe within the next 30 days, you're going to see a massive cyber attack. All of the indications are there. Everyone's ganging up on Iran. You're seeing a lot of tension building, and they cannot compete on the military front. On the physical front, with airplanes, weapons, there's no way they can compete with the United States and Israel. But on cyber, they are very, very advanced. Remember, Stuxnet, where it attacked their nuclear reactors, yes, they were a victim, but when you're a victim of a cyber attack, you also get access to all the code. So they actually have all the code that was used to break into their nuclear reactor. They now took that, and they can use that against us to break into our nuclear reactors.
That's a whole different animal. If they want to cyber attack our nuclear reactors and cause something a catastrophe here. Okay? He just said that. Look, Pompeo came out and warned you this past week, and I keep telling you, he said someone around the world's about to get hit. And it was like, oh, you can't just come out and tell us? Like, why would you not say it? Why would you not? The fact he kept it pulled back and he did not say who screams it's about to hit us. It just does to me. It just does. And then all these other red flags everywhere. I've showed you tonight. Handful of them. Top it off with this, like it's all there. Man, oh man. I pray not. But it's going to happen here at some point. All I can say is anything I've ever said before, right? I hope you have a plan. Cyber attack's going to shut things down, and I don't know to what degree. Even if I can get a transmission off, if I can go live and get comms out, like how many people will even be there? How many people will even be able? It could be something shocking. We have like a dozen people listening in. Like what? If that, like if the whole country gets hit and dropped, like it's going to be an interesting one to see. Basically the only people that I guess would be anyone that was prepared and off grid and had Starlink. Because lights out is the worst case scenario, but EMP is really like the upper echelon worst case scenario. I feel that cyber attacks about to happen now. I said banking could get hit, the water, all of our infrastructure is susceptible, right? But like, if you hit the power, it's like hitting two birds with one stone, or maybe even three birds, four birds with one stone. Especially like, why even bother hitting all these different banking places if you want to hit the banks too? Just take out the power. Just take out the power and all that. You get all that. Yeah, I mean, and it's true what the guy just said. Iran doesn't have a major weapon like this and that. And like, notice he's saying we're going to get hit. He didn't say Israel. They're bypassing, like, we're the big dog here. And like, we're going to get hit. Like, I can feel it, man. Like something's about to happen. I don't know what. Don't have a crystal ball. It's rather obvious, though, to me, man. Living in this realm, covering this news, all this stuff, daily events, world events, all this time for decades, where we're at. Again, when you're sitting here at a time where Kiev, Moscow, both getting hit with bombs, Tel Aviv and Tehran, both getting hit with hypersonic missiles, like, anything could happen at any moment. So, yeah, man. You know the drill. Spiro, member for 2 months of the underground. Yeah, good question. Will cyber attacks foster trust of a new digital financial system? Here's how I see it. I'm glad you said that. I'll sum it up like this, because this is where I kind of see this going. Okay? I see a series of cyber attacks or glitches, however they want to play this out, but more than likely cyber attack, will end up being responsible for holding the banks hostage. Look what just happened in Iran. Look what just happened in Iran. They attacked its biggest banks. No ATMs, no cash, no nothing. They can do that too. They can do that too. Our Pompeo and everyone else has just told you they can do it. So it's almost like you should expect that this is about to happen, like they're telling you this in so many ways. But if you hit the banking sector, however it is, if you ransom them, cyber attack them, or just shut the power off, at least for a short time, I'm almost leaning to get the financial system. If I'm the bad guys pulling the strings, I almost want like a majority of the power on. I want it on. Why? Why do I want it on? Because for this to work, we need people to transition to the new system. That's the whole point, right? If the power's out, they can't do that. Maybe if it is for a short time. Bigger thing here is if it's ransomed. If people just can't get their money out, for a specific reason, their answer's got to be the digital wallet, right? It's got to be the hidden CBDC that Trump said that he was not going to do, by executive order. It's got to be that. It's got to be. And look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Stablecoin Act just passed. The Genius Bill just passed. And what does that do? I told you the reason they wanted it so bad and why it's called the Genius Bill. Because they know this is going into a new era, a digital era, right? And they wanted to make sure that USDT, Tether, USDC, all these cryptos that are pegged to $1, that they are backed by a US dollar. That keeps us needed, keeps us in supply. It keeps us as the front runner in the world going forward. Basically, these cryptos are backed or pegged to the US dollar instead of the ruble, yuan, any of this other stuff. It's a power play there. And it enforces it. And what you can do, what I would do if I was the minion, if I was the bad guy right now, you know what I would do? First off, at this point, me and all my buddies would own a majority of all the shares in the stock market, right? Which your 401k is invested into heavily. So what we're going to do is what I would do if I was the bad guy. I want to steal the most amount of money from everyone if I'm the bad guy. And where's it all at? It's in their 401ks. It's in their accounts. Well, we are going to steal that money. We're going to take it. And guess what? The beautiful thing is we're not even going to steal it. We're going to legally take it. We're going to legally steal it because we're just going to sell. We're all going to sell at the same time in tandem plan. It's going to dump the market because the market's going to come down. Anyway, right? Cyber attacks, say a series of cyber attacks start. This whole thing's planned, right? These dudes are not going to leave money on the table. If I'm the bad guy, I'm not leaving money on the table. I'm stealing all that. I'm dumping. We're dumping. We're leaving all of the people holding the bag. And we're going to be like down. Like this is like a reset period. It's about to happen. A reset period. So as everyone's geeking out, right? Can't pay the bills, can't get gas, can't get cigarettes, can't get food, can't get anything that they need. The government steps up, we step in within, let them squirm for a few days. Step in after a few days and we present the wallet. And we just say simply take this new card that your bank gave you. It's connected to, or it could even be the card that you've already got. They're just going to connect it to a digital wallet. Is all it is. They're just switching this over to a new wallet, a new way, which you don't need to do nothing. They've done all the back work for you. So literally, they're just going to say, look, this is the new mechanism. It's backed by USDT, backed by US dollars, it's backed by it. It has to be accepted by every gas station, every store, everywhere. They'll force them to, or they'll put them out of business. Do you see what's happening? What's about to go down? This is what we do. This is where, if you're the bad guys, we force the hand. This is where we steal all this money. We can blame it on the bad guys and all this all at the same time, too. But it's not like the Chinese are in here with guns drawn, coming out the bushes, slicing throats. All right, I don't see them doing that. I don't. They could even try it, but dude, they're gonna get their asses handed to them. Here, if they even was to ever try to go that route, I see them more of causing chaos, systematically, attacking places, causing chaos like that. More than anything. And then once the damage is done, the reset happens. That's the reset. It happened. It could even happen a little smooth, you know? Didn't have to last that long. We just have to hold the money hostage, right? You have to have a reason to incorporate the new way. So you have to hold it hostage. And you have to have power to do it. So that is why I lean toward this event's happening. Exactly how I just laid it out. Because that's the most, and again, the lights could go out and all this crap, bigger cyber attack. It can make it last a couple of days to a week. Who knows how much they want to make you squirm. But in all honesty, they don't need to make it be that bad. It could just be for a couple of days. It doesn't even have to be that big of a huge deal. As long as they're there with the remedy, which is just download this new wallet at your bank, or your bank's already got it. I'm telling you, this is the plan. Some of us have known this, man. You're right. 84 was a milestone to facilitate the transition. It was. And we've known this since then. We've known that this whole thing has been part of the process. This is what they want to do. I fear, my biggest fear above all of these things is like a real bird flu deadly release. Like the real thing happening. That's my biggest fear. It just is. It's what I planned, did all this planning to survive for. We can navigate through a reset. You can navigate through the financial switchover. You can navigate through that stuff. It could be crazy, wild times. But man, a real pandemic is something that you don't wish upon any generation. And here, everybody runs around here thinking that they done did it. Boy, oh boy. That's like thinking you could fight and stepping into the ring, getting knocked out quick. Because you ain't never trained, you ain't never done nothing. Just thinking something ignorant, man. We're about to get a knockout blow. America is. Again, it's to knock us off our perch, I feel. If I'm the global elite and I want this, which it seems they telegraph, this is the plan, this is what they want. They want a multipolar world order here, China in the fray. All these. And see, what people also don't understand is like when everyone's set up on a CBDC or a government-controlled digital currency. Get over the CBDC name. A government-controlled digital currency. It's a one-world currency. They don't need to have one freaking coin or currency by one name at this point. They don't. It's moot. They do not need to even, there's no need to ever even think about it or enforce it. Every country can still operate with its own. But here's the thing. On the new system, they're all treated as the same. They're all the same currency. You see, basically, they're all trackable and traceable. That's all that matters. So it all is trackable currency, which is all that matters to them. This is the end game financial system. Definitely what you want to be planning to avoid at this point, man. Much love to everybody out there. Just checking the chat. I'm trying to wind this down. I try to do so much warning of stuff. And one of these days, this stuff is just... it's already popping off. But this big reset event, once in a lifetime event, it's going to happen sooner than later. Much love, everybody. I want to thank everyone that joined us here again. Anyone that dropped a super chat. Anyone dropped a coffee out there. Support the channel here tonight. I do appreciate it to the fullest. What's up, Jacob, David, Bulletproof, Big D, Steve, Mr. Streets, Looking Cube. As always, I'm going to take us out of here on some music, some shout outs. And I'll look to be back here on Monday. I'm dropping videos every day, especially stuff popping off on these war fronts over the weekend. Just keep an eye out for any videos we dropping. Follow me on X. Stay praying. Stay being righteous, walking righteous, doing good throughout all this evil. That's what counts the most. And as I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Thank you, Jay. Desire for Truth, man. Dropping the memberships. Thank you. And everyone that got one, welcome to the Underground. And happy 11/11. Much love. God bless. I see you, Carlin. Gary McGinnis. Much love, my brother. Jake in the Bill. Eat this. Hoodie Ross. Salutes Bones, John, Ava, B-Rabbit, Skippy, Karen, Mary, MC, Patrol, Conan, Deanne, thank you for everything. Archie Toro, Minx, Karen, Bonnie, Twilight, Mary, Tom. Much love, God bless. Good, Steve. Always. Eon, I swear you're legendary, brother. Like no